Alright, hey guys, so I got an unboxing to do for you today, a mystery unboxing actually. I got a package here from Japan that I'm going to open up for you guys, and this is actually going to lead into, I'll show you guys a new console that I picked up as well. Because the games in this package are the first games that I picked up for this system, and then I've got a little story to go along with that on how I actually came to acquire this system that I'm talking about. Alright, so let's open this up here. They packaged it pretty well. Just a little hint before I reveal what they are. I'll just say loading times, and that might give you a hint right there. So any final guesses? And here we go. I got some Neo Geo CD games. I picked up Last Resort and Viewpoint. They're two shoot-'em-up games, and I've really been looking forward to playing these ones. I saw Luke Morse play this one on his channel one time, and it looked excellent. It has some really excellent music, and it seems very challenging. And then there's also Viewpoint, which is available on other consoles, even the PlayStation 1. It's also available on the Neo Geo AES, but that version is super expensive. And it has a really cool isometric kind of view to it. It's not your typical shooter. It kind of reminds me of Zaxxon in a way, which was one of my favorite games on ColecoVision, so also really excited to play this. I've also heard it's really punishing and hard, but let me go ahead and reveal to you guys the console that I got. And it might be a little bit different than what you're thinking, because it's not the regular Neo Geo CD, it's actually the Neo Geo CDZ, which, for those of you that don't know, if you're not really familiar with the Neo Geo hardware, there is the Neo Geo AES, which actually, let me go and grab that for you guys. I was actually just playing this the other day. Let me unhook it. Alright, so there's the Neo Geo AES, which is the home console, which allows you to use cartridges, which basically makes it the closest thing to an at-home arcade experience. There's no load times, and it really is the closest thing to playing these Neo Geo games at home as if you were playing them in the arcade. There's also the MVS, which is basically, if you want to play that in your home, you're either going to have an arcade cabinet, or you have to have a consoleized MVS, which basically means taking the arcade PCB and hooking it up so that you can use it as a console without having to use it in an arcade cabinet. And those can get very expensive. So I bought my AES actually like 8 or 9 years ago. I bought this really a long time ago when I was a kid, and it cost quite a bit of money, and it was quite a purchase for back then. And at the time, it was funny because I was kind of going back and forth for like a good month with myself, trying to figure out, do I want the Neo Geo CD? Because the games on the CD are a heck of a lot cheaper than the AES. There's only a handful of games you can get on the AES for like under $50. The rest of them you're talking anywhere from $100 to a few $1,000s. But I went with the AES only because I had always dreamed about owning this console for a very long time. And I had the opportunity to get one, modded with Unibios and S-Video, so I went with that. In a way, it was kind of a mistake because the games, yeah, they're super expensive. And I didn't go with the CD because people complained about the load times, which were anywhere between 30 seconds to a minute long between stages. But what the CDZ does, and why this is probably the most sought-after version of the Neo Geo CD, is that it cuts the load times practically in half. It really cuts the load times down. This was only released in Japan, but it is region-free, so it can play US games, European, whatever. It can play Japanese games. It can play everything. So how did I get this console? I actually picked this up when I was at PAX East back in March. And I was wandering around the anime section, because they had the anime convention and PAX in the same building. But over in the anime section, there was a very small booth of some people selling some video game stuff. So I walked over, and the first thing that caught my eye was the Neo Geo CDZ. So I'm like, alright, I'm going to ask how much this thing is. I'm kind of anticipating a high price, because generally when you go to conventions or flea markets where people have games and they know what they're charging, they're probably going to charge eBay value, if not more. So I asked how much it was, and the one guy apparently didn't know the prices on anything, so we had to ask the main owner of the booth. And I wasn't expecting the price that he came back at me with, and he said $40. So I was like, holy crap, okay. I picked that thing up. I'm like, alright, I'm buying this. I can't let anybody else grab it. Because a Neo Geo CDZ I knew was, first of all, it's pretty rare. It's not super rare, but it's not common by any means. But generally, you can't get one of these on eBay for under $100. Typically, they'll go for around $150 if they come with the hookups and everything. But actually, just for comparison, I checked eBay today, and just a regular Neo Geo CD with hookups sold for $200. So the fact that I was getting this for $40 was a steal. So I grabbed it. Now, the only problem was there were no hookups in sight. There was no power cable, there were no video cables, so I stood around and waited for him to find them, because he's like, alright, I know they're around here somewhere, so he's searching through the boxes, and eventually he does find them. And I don't have them around me here, but I got the official power cord for this, and I got the AV hookups. But obviously I'm going to use S-Video with this because that'll give me a much better picture quality. The only thing it didn't come with was a controller, which the Neo Geo CD consoles came with their own controller, which sort of is a cross between, say, the Sega Genesis and a Super Nintendo controller. Just think a regular controller that you can hold in your hands. But luckily I still have a working, well, these things stay in pretty good condition for a really long time, actually. They hold up really well. But the AES controller, which looks like this, which really helps bring home an arcade experience, and it works really, really well. This is an excellent controller. So long story short, I bring it home. I asked him if it works. He says he wasn't sure, but, you know, he has a guarantee on it or whatnot. But, of course, I'm not going to be in the PAX area. I'm not going to be around Boston anytime soon again, so I had to kind of buy it on a whim and on a chance. So I get it home, and naturally it powers up and everything. But I didn't have any games for it. He didn't have any games for sale there. So I went on eBay, and I actually picked up as my very first game. I bought Viewpoint on eBay for a decent price. And my luck, I wasn't having a lot of luck recently on eBay. The seller apparently had it up for sale, but didn't have it in stock. So, that, you know, I was done right there. I'm like, oh man, I'm so excited I got my CDZ. I got a game for it. And, I was kind of let down. The seller didn't have it. And then, for a couple of months, I didn't buy anything for it. And then, I was just watching some Neo Geo videos online, and I'm like, you know, I really got to get back into my Neo Geo. So I decided to finally pick up some games, and I figured these would be two great ones to pick up, because I've really been in the shooters lately, and I'm really looking forward to giving these a try. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed that video. Who knows, maybe I'll make a video on both of these games pretty soon, show you guys what they're like, especially Last Resort. I'm really interested to see how this one plays out. So thanks for watching, and look forward to some more videos here pretty soon.